Hello everyone, welcome back to the Greens family. So we got a little clarification from JPS. A few days ago I called them Jamaica People Stress, and a lot of people is now running with that name. But today I am going to call them JPS. No, we got a little clarification. It's not dealt with. We got a big bill for $74,000. Our previous bill was around $3,200. That was the bill, and then this one jumped all the way to 74,000. So we were really shocked, and we had to dig deep to find out what was really happening. Mrs. Green, how are you doing?
Tired.
I hope that bill is not still stuck in your head.
Kinda is.
Well, that's not the type of bill you just, forget about in a few minutes. Like I said, we were going to go to the office to see exactly what was really taking place. I didn't send my wife because I didn't want to have to go and bail her. I'm just joking, Greens family. She's not that type of person. Let me ask you a question. If you go inside a supermarket and you see a lot of rats running around on the ground, whose fault is it? Is it the cashier?
No.
It's not the cashier. So when we go to the JPS office, we don't go there to quarrel or to make a big fuss, because we understand that the people that are working inside of the JPS office, the security, they have nothing to do with what is going on, because they're not the one calling the shots. They're just doing their job and do it based on what they're being told. Exactly. So when we went to the JPS office, actually a lot of people was there, because I thought we were the only one experiencing that, but I realize now that it's
a country's it's the entire country.
It's the entire country. So when we went to the JPS office, when I went to the JPS office, I'm the one who went to the JPS office. I explained to them that my bill was at 3,000 something, and all of a sudden I see the bill skyrocket to $74,000. No, they explained to me that the bill was being estimated from last September until January. They explained to me that I wasn't getting the correct bill. So my bill was being estimated based on my first bill. So for example, they don't know how much exactly I am using, but they're just estimating it based on the bill that I started paying way back. So no, the JPS was actually at my house today. They come at my house today to do some checks on the meter and stuff like that. So to make sure that the meter wasn't losing, what do you call it? Something
leakage or something.
Yes, leakage, exactly. That was the exact word the JPS man used. Because there are some things in your house sometimes that could cause leakage, like one of the appliances not working properly or something like that. Electronic device not working properly, so it could cause some leakage. So when I went to the office and I explained to them, they were explaining that it's based on Beryl. When Beryl blew, in fact, no one have control over Beryl. No one has control over Beryl. It's natural disaster. But they were saying that when Beryl blew, they were connected to Digicel 2G service. Exactly. So they normally use the Digicel 2G network to track their system and to get the exact reading. Since Beryl blew, they weren't able to get the actual reading from anyone's meter, so they had to be going off estimation. So everyone that was getting a bill, it was based on estimation. Now here is my problem, because for example, many times my bill come to like 3,200, and I explained to my wife that I think my bill should be a little bit higher. And we're just saying, okay, let's see. And I hear a lot of people in the community saying that our bill is now reasonable. We think we can work with this. So we thought that, probably JPS was making some adjustment and we were getting a fairer bill. But then I realized that it was estimated bill. So she explained to me that it was estimated bill, and all the money that we should have been paying from last September until January, they just add up everything and give it all to us in February. But here is the problem now, what I'm trying to understand. When they were estimating those bills, remember, you could have been using 5,000 worth of usage in December, and in February, when they're getting the actual reading, that's the time you use $15,000. and then they judge from September until January based on that $15,000. Because my neighbor, I explained to you, they weren't home for 6 months. The entire community can attest to it. They weren't home for 6 months and they were paying 20 something thousand every month, and those bills were based on estimation.
Yeah.
Because they had nothing in their home turned on.
But they were estimating from the last bill that they saw on their system. They just say, okay, every month their bill is going to come to that, and they just run with it. And
Exactly. So from the last bill they pay before they had the problem with the storm and the disconnection, they're going based on that bill.
Yeah.
No, the people are not home. No, for example, the people come home in January now. And when they come home in January, they get the meter rectified in February. Now, when the meter is rectified in February, the people is actually home now, and they use the current now, and the bill go to like probably, let's say the bill go to like $30,000. Now they're judging that those people were using $30,000 from September last year.
come all the way up.
Yeah. So look at it now. If I were using $20,000 worth of usage from last year, $20,000 for each month from last year come all the way to January. But the moment they corrected my meter, I make sure I use a little usage and I use like $3,000. What would happen? They would probably give me back some money. That would happen. So at the end of the day, it's not fair to any of the customer.
No.
Now here is the problem now, because when they explained to me that it's because I was getting estimated bill, that is the reason why I'm going to have to pay these backup fees. They're explaining to us now that we have to pay the late fee. It's not anyone's fault that the bill were being estimated. So why are we going to pay the late? There's a late charge if you haven't paid a bill from 3 months ago. So we're getting late charge from September. Tax for late charge. And then you know how much the tax is for? Our tax is for what?
$60,200 and some dollars.
$60,200 and something dollars. So that is the only problem that I am really having with JPS right now. Number one, the people that came at my house today to do the checks, I want to appreciate them because they didn't have to show up to check on the meter. And I want to appreciate JPS for acting quickly on the issue to find out exactly what was happening. I appreciate you so much for that. But what I really don't appreciate is that we're paying late fee tax for,
or we're paying for something that we were not in control of. It was not our fault. So just like how they could have sent us a bill saying that, we owe this amount of money, they should have also sent us a notification prior to our bill, stating that from the months of September to January there was an estimation, and you were not paying. You were not given the actual bill. You understand?
Right.
So then they could have said to us then that, all right, then during a 6 months period, a 12 months period, what we didn't pay in September, October, November, December, January, then each month we're going to add that amount to each of our bill. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
so there will be a little addition.
A little addition apart from our actual bill.
Exactly. Instead of just putting everything together and just giving you a big bill at once. I understand exactly what you're saying, and that makes so much sense to say that for 6 months ago you were being estimated and now you're getting the real reading of your bill. So we're going to put an additional
fee
each month.
For a period of time.
For the previous month that you weren't getting the correct bill. No, what I don't have a problem with we getting estimation bill and no, we have to pay the real bill. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem with us, the customer, paying late fee tax, and it is not our fault that It's not our fault. We're not the reason why we were being estimated. So for those tax, late fee tax that come up to so many thousands of dollars, I don't agree with that. So our bill is not going to be cancelled. We're not going to get a big discount. We're still going to have to pay this 74,000 if we want to keep our
Service
or if you
with
want to keep our
JPS.
service. Exactly. No, they're saying that we have a case, so that means we can contest it. But let's say we are supposed to contest it, we're not going to have to think about going to court, all these things. No, the time we're going to do all of that, and the time we're going to put money to spend on a case, fighting a little case with JPS, we are going to spend 3-4 times the amount of what our actual bill is, and we might even not even win the case.
Might even lose.
So I think if we're supposed to think about that, it would be best we invest that money in somewhere else. Let's say we want to think about solar. That could be a great start. Instead of going to take up $200,000, does it make sense using $200,000 trying to fight to resolve 70,000? Doesn't make any
No.
sense. And at the end of the day, when you start anything to do with law, you don't know how long it's going to take. It can last for years, going back and forth, and then you take up something. So I think it's best we would consider a different service more than just. So there is a lot of solar company, a lot of people who have leave solar numbers in the comment section, and we have reached out to a few of them, and gotten some price and stuff like that. The price based on what you're using in your house. So they will give you more panels if you have more usage for utility bills. So we are going to have to consider something else in the meantime. Do you know how many people, after paying their utility bills each month,
They don't have $1,000 there.
not even a dollar, the money is done because they're just working to pay their bills? So when you have small people like that, you cannot just give them this big bill out of the blues. Bam! It would be better if you were taking $1,000 each month until you get what you want, without just breaking the news. You're owing $90,000, but how they're making it seem as if like we're at fault. Like you're owing this amount of money. If you don't pay it by that time, your bill is going to be. No, it's not supposed to be like that. There's supposed to be some understanding to it, because it is totally not the people's fault. Because if your bill were being estimated from last September coming up to January, and you were supposed to be paying an extra money, JPS is the one who is supposed to be blamed for that. It is not the people that is supposed to be blamed for that. No, what JPS explained, it is very, very much understandable. They explained to us that they were using the 2G, it's been disconnected, and they lost signal with all the meters. That's totally understanding. It's a storm, devastation happened, and no one is in control of that. But how are you going to charge the people, or are you going to tax the people for late fee from September straight to January, and they're not the reason why they're paying late? If you were giving them, everyone who is working at JPS right now and watch this video, you must agree with this. If you were charging them for the extra amount of money that they were supposed to be paying, that would be that we agree on that. But when you're going to tax them for the late fee, that is totally not acceptable, because
Not
they're
at
not the
all.
reason. They're and the next thing about it, the people who work at the JPS office and the people who go around and work on the meters, they're the one getting the blame right now.
I
Because
blame them.
you blame them.
Yes, I remember the day that they came. I was
Yes.
just asking them question upon question, talking to them, weird,
Right.
and I'm like,
But you know that you weren't supposed to blame them, right? Because they're just the man on the front seat who get the job to do, and they're getting the blame, so they don't deserve to be blamed. So people, when you see the people working with the JPS coming around, checking on your meters, they're not the ones supposed to be blamed. When you go to the JPS office, the people sitting down at the front desk, they're not the ones supposed to be blamed. Right now, as I am talking, do you know the amount of people that is going to get their light cut off, all because of this high bill that they just get out of the blues? Because they weren't prepared for it, they don't have the money to spend, and a lot of them don't know the ways of going. Like, there's a way you can, probably pay it little by little, but a
A
lot of
down payment.
exactly, but a lot of people don't really go to the JPS office to figure this out. Like, how can I pay this bill? They're just like, it's for $50,000. I'm unable to pay it, so let's just leave it by. And if you are outstanding $100, they're going to still cut off the light. So a lot of people right now is going to get their light cut off. It's so sad, and it is because
They
of
don't
this.
have the money.
They don't have the money, and it's because of this high bill that they just get from nowhere because they weren't prepared for it. They weren't saving up for it. So please, it should be a way that you try to work it out the best way with the customer, because it is not the customer's fault. I am sure that if 1,000 people from Jamaica get a bill for 100,000, out of that 1,000 people, maybe 50 are able to pay that hundred
I don't
thousand.
even think so much.
Yes, this country is not a country where everyone is just have money flashing around. Someone said something, and I have to think about it real hard. You remember that person who says, "Come on, Mr. Green, that's $74,000. Once you can pay, just pay it." That's stupidity right there. That doesn't make absolutely no sense. So let's say you have a good job. I'm talking to any one of you right now. You have a good job, and you're getting a good pay, and you know genuinely that this thing you're buying value $1,000. Now you see this thing selling for $20,000. Are you just going to buy it like that because you have the money to spend? That's waste. That's having no control over your money. And no matter how successful you are in life, I'd rather give it away more than waste it.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting a bill for $3,200 and I automatically get a bill for $74,000, shouldn't I go and inquire to see what could push the bill all the way to that limit?
Yeah.
So someone is saying that I should have just paid
Pay the
that bill.
money.
Come on, man. Don't say that, because there is absolutely no one in their right mind that is going to be paying $3,200 continually on something, and out of nowhere they get the same bill. They didn't add anything to their house. Remember, if we had put a few things in our house, we would have known that, this is the reason why our bill is
Bill is
now
high,
now
yeah.
to up to 50,000. But we didn't do any addition. So how a bill go? So how do you mean we're not supposed to go and check out what's happening? We're just supposed to pay the bill. If you just pay the bill like that, that's when you're going to see high bill keep coming in, because they realize they realize that you are ready to spend, and guess what? They are also ready to charge. So
You eventually become a target.
you'll become a target because you don't make any resistance. You just pay without any resistance. Another thing, someone says, Mr. Green, how can you have two washing machine and you wash with your hands? We really have to laugh when we read that comment. Thank you so much for commenting, though. One thing about me, though, whether people comment good or whether people comment negative, I don't have a problem with no one commenting. I appreciate everyone, because you didn't even have to type and comment. So I appreciate you for commenting. But I want to say this to you, that how I grow up, I didn't grow up in a rich family. And I learned to do a lot of things with my hands. I learned how to wash. I learned how to cook. I learned how to iron. I learned how to sew.
Pretty much you learn to do everything manually.
All these things I can do with my hands, right? So if I purchase a washing machine, I purchased a nice washing machine, and we also got one. That's what happened when you're favorite. You get things. And we also got one. Now, if I have two washing machine at my house, in which I have two washing machine at my house, that means I am not supposed to wash with my hands again, because I now have two washing machine. No, sometimes I don't even like when my clothes wash in a washing machine. I prefer to wash them with my hands. And do you think a washing machine can wash better than your hands? No way.
No way.
So it doesn't necessarily mean once you have the thing you have to take advantage of it. I have a weed whacker. And sometimes when I'm chopping my yard, I use the machine. Sometimes we go the ways that we used to from. Yeah, exactly. Someone said, how can you have a television and you don't watch a television. Why do you buy it for? It's just to show off? No. You have the television at your house. You use it if you want to, but I'm not addicted
To
to.
the TV.
Yeah,
You're not gonna sit 24/7 in front of it like that. No.
yeah. Sometimes I don't feel no push to really turn on the television.
And there are other things that can occupy your time. Just spending time with your family alone is enough.
Exactly.
Is enough.
Do
Trust
some
me.
I prefer do some reading. Do some reading, do some meditating, do some praying, whatever. But I don't, a lot of people watch television like 6 7 hours per day. I don't have any problem with them, but I am not addicted to the television. And the next thing I know, the television is on the wall. I don't watch it for 3 months, 3 months turning into a here turning into two here. Next thing, it's not working. It's not really my fault, but I purchased it because you want to have good things around you. But at the same thing, you're not changed by any of these things. A lot of people grow up in poverty, and when they come to experience some of these things that they didn't have any, they didn't know anything about,
It.
they get so accustomed to them. So,
Sentimental.
yes, and they don't know how to go back to
The old ways.
exactly, because if they're supposed to, experience a certain, setback in life, they don't know how to adjust. For example, if some people are cooking right now on their stove and the gas is finished, that's it. They don't
They
know
don't
what
know
to
how
do.
to go outside, cut some wood,
I-
make up a fire.
Exactly. I personally I grew up rough. And my wife, she have a lot of the rough experience as well. And that is the reason why I'm really thankful that God give me a wife like this, because we have a same understanding of how we grow up.
And we know how to appreciate the little things that we have.
Exactly. But we don't make nothing change us. Absolutely, there is nothing that can change us. Like I know about myself personally, and I see that in my wife as well, that she's not easily frightened about certain things. Because a lot of people, once they can afford certain things, they just give up on everything else.
Everything that they
Once
used
they
to.
can afford steak, they don't want to eat no sardine again. They don't
No
want to
tin
eat
products.
no chicken foot again. And
No liver.
when you live a life like that, you're going to be in big trouble. So I am telling you, even yesterday, my wife can attest to that. I washed 2 line of clothes with my hands. She's the one who hung them out, and I washed them out. So that I like to do washing with my hands. I prefer to do washing with my hands, and my wife do some washing with her hands as well. No, and then if she want to use the washing machine, she use the washing machine. So we don't have to all the time use these things, even though you have them in your possession. If I install AC in my house tomorrow, do you think I'm supposed to be using the AC 24/7? No. Sometimes I want to experience what the natural breeze is like again. So, not to be strayed on anyone's comment or anything like that, because like I said, I appreciate every one of you who leave a comment, everyone who liked the video, and everyone who watched the video until the end. So we're talking about JPS, and I don't really want to waste too much time talking about JPS, because this week I had a lot of things that I had to cancel because I had to go into the office and check out.
What was going on
Yeah.
with our bill?
And that was on a busy day. That was really on a busy day. And the reason why I was, so shocked when I see that bill is because I know
We are not using that amount of current.
totally not using that amount of current. And I know different place that is, using way more things and paying a lesser bill than what we're paying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so JPS, we understand that it's because we were being estimated. We now have to pay all the extras that we were supposed to be paying from September until January. But we are not agreeing with you at all that we're supposed to be taxed for the late fee, because it is not our fault for our late fee. If we were getting the bill, if the bill were supposed to come to $10,000, and you give us the bill for $3,000, and then a few months down the line you said, your bill was not supposed to be $3,000, it was supposed to be 10,
10,000.
so you're going to pay an extra $7,000. We would have understand that. But
Yeah.
when you're going to say you're going to have to pay an extra $7,000, and you're also going to have to be taxed for the 7,000 for the late fee. And the tax is not a little bit amount, it's a high amount. That is where I find a big problem, because you should know how to give and take. The company don't want to lose absolutely nothing. I'm wondering if, when Bill blew and after a while everyone was out of, power, I was wondering if the money that JPS was losing in those times, because remember, the bill weren't reading in those times, I'm wondering if they're trying to catch up to that money. I'm wondering if that's the case. Anyway, we appreciate JPS because a lot of people, benefit from JPS company in a lot of way, no matter how you take it. But JPS, you need to do a little bit better. Just do more home checks.
Communication.
Yes, and if people are supposed to be estimated, please find a better way, or tell them in advance. Tell them that, in February you're going to get all the late charge in February, so they can at least, expect it. Don't just, those bills can cause some serious heart attack and send a lot of people down to Madden's, please. Because when you wake up out of your bed, you're expecting a bill to come for $2,000, and when you look, you see $200,000. You're supposed to accept that and, oh, it's nothing. Put it down. Hey, that gives people a lot of headache. And you have a lot of people. I know people right now who spend their last just to make sure they pay their bill. So when JPS is coming around, they don't have to be running to the bush and hiding. They want to pay their bill and live freely. I encourage every youth and people also that, work hard, pay your bills, and try to live a free life. That's what I encourage people. But if you want people to, do the right, you first have to do the right. Because you're the one that they're supporting. They're paying for the service, so let them have the service, freely. Let them not, get the service and feel as if they are being, pressured.
Pressured.
They're being pressured.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they're being pressured because someone was explaining that, probably if someone's still like close to you, maybe that can affect your bill. I don't know about that because when people say that, no, it's as if they would want you to be pointing out people who is stealing light. That's foolishness. That's not our job. That's not no one's job to do, except JPS is supposed to figure that out. Right. So treat your customers more fairly. That's all I can say. Treat your customers more fairly because they deserve.
Communicate with your customers. Send out information.
Right.
Just like how you can send out information and say, hey, we're going to cut off light in the area for this amount of time from 9 to 5.
Yes.
Send out something to say, okay, this month there's going to be a higher fee or something.
Right. It is shocking. And even, I will say it one more time again, even when you're giving us a higher fee because of what we should have been paying from last year, you shouldn't have taxes for the late fee. Because the late fee is not the people's fault.
Amen.
So once again, we appreciate every one of you who have watched this video until the end. Please be sure to give a like, leave a comment, and also be a part of the Greens family by subscribing. JPS, please give your customers more, give them more frequent update of what is about to take place. Don't just shock them with a high bill. And also don't tax them if they're not the fault for, paying the bill at a later time. So if you give them estimation bill and then they're supposed to pay late their backup fee, don't give them tax for that because they're not the one who estimate themselves. You're the one who estimate them. So JPS, we appreciate your service, but we think you can do much better. And finally, when you see the JPS people going around, or the people working in the office at the JPS, please don't
attack them.
Don't attack them because they're not the problem. If you go to a gas station and you get bad gas in your car, don't go back to the pump attendant and say, you are the reason why I get bad gas in my car. No, they're just working there.